In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint the Salamanders Legion for the Horus Heresy. And so you can follow along, this is an easy to follow step-by-step guide explaining all the steps and techniques so you all have the confidence and knowledge to get your own Salamanders fully painted. And if you stick around until the end, I'll be showing you how to paint some of the more fun things like weathered armour, plasma weapons, and even a cracked lava design for their armour. Welcome to TableTopReady, my name's Michael, and I want to show you that painting Heresy Salamanders doesn't have to be that difficult, and once you know how, you'll have some miniatures you can be really proud of. All of the paints and brushes I use throughout this tutorial will be shown on the screen as I use them, and they'll also be listed in the description along with any hobby equipment I think you'll find useful with affiliate links to where you can buy them. As well, if you enjoy my content here on TableTopReady, then let me know by clicking that like button, and why not leave me a comment. I love reading them and hearing about your own hobby. Before we get started, we'll have to get our miniatures ready for painting, which I've made a dedicated video about on the channel. And for this video, I'll be painting our salamander using sub-assemblies, making it much easier to paint. I've also chosen to undercoat my salamander with Death Guard green, but know that you can use whatever undercoat you want, the steps are still the same. One of the best ways to start painting your miniatures is to get all your base colours painted first. This lets us spend time choosing what colours we want to paint everything, and painting becomes less overwhelming as we've created a great starting point to work from. The first thing we're going to paint is our armour using wild flesh, and for best results when painting, we always want to thin our paint, and I find an equal amount of water does the trick. And I would also remove excess paint on some paper towel first so we don't have an overloaded brush when painting. And when we're ready, we want to keep our brush moving and avoid going over areas we've already painted to prevent creating any unwanted texture whilst the paint is still drying. When you're done, because we thinned our paint, it won't have covered very well. So let's repeat the process and paint another layer. This also means we can build up to a solid colour without losing any details in our miniatures. Just make sure each layer has fully dried first before doing another one. Let's get all the ribbing between the armour and other details we want to be black, like weapon casings and any pouches painted using Abaddon black. It's important that we're taking our time when we're getting our base colours painted, and we're making sure that we're building up to solid colours as well, so that anything we do after this is going to contrast better, and it's also going to help the look of our miniatures once we're done. As well, whilst we paint, it's okay to be messy and make mistakes. It's all part of the fun, and we can neaten up and correct any mistakes as we continue to paint. This will go a long way to making our miniatures look even better. The next thing we can get done are all the metal, starting with any silver details, painting them iron hand steel. And for any gold details, let's paint them with Retributor armour. Now we have all of our base colours done and everything's tidied up, we can move on to learning how to create definition and paint highlights. I now want to show you what to do next with the armour, which involves creating definition and learning to highlight. We first want to define the shape of the armour with a recess shade using Caliban green, helping to bring out any details in the different panels. A recess shade involves painting directly into recesses and areas to create our definition, rather than using an overall wash, which can be messy and darken the colours we apply them over. If you're a bit messy, we can neaten things back up once you're done with our base colour. Even though I'm giving you all this information, it's still important to put in the practice and get a head around it before we can fully understand how everything's working. And we may not always get it straight away, but that's okay. Another way to bring out our details is with some shades. We can use some Norn oil for our silver details and Xeraphim Sapphire for any gold details. It's now time to learn about highlighting to bring out the details and edges even more. Let's start with a chunky highlight for our armour using an equal mix of wild flesh and Elysian green. This wants to be quite a thick line so it can still be seen once we've done our finer highlights after this. Paint this along any edges and around details. Once you're done with the chunky highlight, let's do an edge highlight using Elysian green. And this is to bring out any edges, areas and raised details to draw our attention to them and to make these features stand out even more. To make this easier, we can angle our brush and run it along an edge to create a highlight. And if you can't do this, then we just have to take our time painting thin lines where we want those highlights to be. I will always say that highlighting is one of the most important techniques to really practice and get good at, because it really does help our brush control and hand-eye coordination, making us better miniature painters overall. Next, we want to do a finer highlight using Ogren camo, and this is used to really emphasise the more prominent edges and details to make them stand out even more. The last highlight we can do is a spot highlight using Creed Khaki, to paint dots in all the corners of our armour where light would be more focused. If you need help with your highlighting, I do have a dedicated video on the channel showing you what helps me, so make sure to go and check it out. Now we know how to highlight our details, let's work on any black details like the ribbon, weapon casings and any pouches. To highlight these, start with a chunky highlight using Eshin Grey. After that, we can use Dawnstone to edge highlight these areas. When it comes to the metals, we can highlight both the silver and gold with Stormhost Silver. With our definition and highlights finished, let's see how we can make our salamanders look even more interesting. In this final section, I want to show you how to paint the fun stuff like weathered armour, plasma glow and even the cracked lava design. The first thing we can do is paint little scuffs and scratches across our armour using Elysian Green. And we can even paint little chips on edges with Rhinox Hide using the side of our brush where we can. Finally, let's not forget to paint any rivets using Stormhost Silver. It's a small thing to do, but it really does make a difference. I know what I'm showing you may seem like a lot, and you'd be right, but I just want to show you what's possible, and it's always up to you to decide how many of these steps and techniques that you use, and the most important thing for me is that you're enjoying doing what you're doing. To paint any plasma coils, we first want to start with Baharroth Blue for our base colour. We can then paint some Sotek Green directly into the recesses to separate out the coils. Neaten up with Baharroth Blue if you need to. Finish the coils using Blue Horror to really emphasise the glow and curves. We can go a step further, creating a glow around the coils, first painting a chunky highlight using Cantor Blue, and then an edge highlight with Lothern Blue. It's best to focus on areas adjacent to the coils to make this believable. The next thing I want to show you is how we can paint that cracked lava design, which is really going to impress people. Let's first block in our chunky shapes using Galvor Back Red, making sure to vary the size of them, and this does want to be a thick line. The next colour we're using is Mephiston Red, and we want to paint this within our first thicker lines. After that, we want to start getting lighter as we move towards the lower areas of our design, first with Trollslayer Orange and then Fire Dragon Bright. Finish this design using Eshin Grey to paint a thick line around the edge of each chunk in between the cracks. The last thing we need to do is paint any lenses starting with Mephiston Red. We then want to use Fire Dragon Bright to paint a thin line along the bottom of each lens. Finally, we can paint a dot of white scar in the top rear corner of each lens to finish. It's been a lot of fun exploring how to paint the original colours of the salamanders as they were during the Horus Heresy, and I especially wanted to have a go at painting that cracked lava design as well. So let's see how they turned out. Before we see the reveal, I do want to say a massive thank you to all the amazing people who've made this tutorial possible with their continued support. It really means a lot. It allows me to get all the paints, brushes and miniatures I need to make these tutorials, so I can continue to help you get better at painting. If you enjoy the content here on TableTopReady and want to help support the channel, you can become a channel member or join my Patreon, which gives you access to our Discord, regular updates, and you'll get to watch videos and tutorials early. I've got plenty of videos and tutorials on the channel aimed at helping you get the most out of your hobby, so make sure to go and check those out as well. I really do enjoy making these tutorials and I hope you find them useful. If you do, then please leave a like and let me know in the comments below. As well, make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on future content, and I'll see you in the next video.